did bring
I'd just like to welcome back Bob Parsons, a healthy Bob Parsons.
Absolutely.
Parsons version number 2 now, right? And if you'll notice, he has more gray hair now than when he, prior to his health issues. He tells me it's always been there, but I think he may be coloring it or something more distinguished. But welcome back, Bob. So glad you're healthy.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Thank you, Colonel.
No
Appreciate
question about that. Yep. Okay.
I'd like to jump on that. This is Bob Parsons 2.0 or reboot. And I asked him how he was doing, and he said he ran a 5K last week. So, way to go. It's just so good to see you sitting there. And we're all pretty excited. And I got Bob's permission to say all this because we don't like to embarrass him. But welcome back, Bob.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back. I had a scary moment. I have to extend my deepest thanks to the East Alabama Medical Center cardiovascular unit. They helped me in a very rough moment. So they all power to them. So thanks a lot. Appreciate your kind words.
Citizens Minutes 27th edition. My name is Robert Wilkins. It is a sunny afternoon with a sprinkling of soft, fluffy white clouds on this fall Monday with temperature of 71. Before I start, it seems that some of our council members are questioning the need for more transparency by the city manager.
I've been working with the city manager trying to identify and crosswalk agenda items that note that they're fully funded with the actual budget book. I've complained in the past about level of detail. Just so you know, this $176,000 is not individually identifiable in the budget. It is lumped in to a $900,000 budget over 2 fiscal years. So that's the type of detail that I refer to sometimes when I don't think we have sufficient detail in the budget. That's all.
I just would like to ask if we know how many animals were serviced from the city of Auburn in the last fiscal year.
Yes, we had 917 animals to be serviced from the city of Auburn, and that includes animal control as well as our citizens bringing in.
Okay, and then this, I know this 228 is over, is for fiscal year 26, and then we determined 27 based off of what the...
This year, yes. So we're always a year behind, and that's based on our pro rata share of what we bring in.
Is that 917? I know occasionally we get a report from CARE, which is nice to get. Is that 917 an increase over?
That 917 is a little bit less than what we actually do typically, and that's because we had a respiratory illness with our canines, and so they had to shut down for a while. So the number you have there is based on our average, which is 1,043. So that's what we did this year for CARE Humane Society.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, Kelly.
Just for everybody's information, if you're looking for this $80,000 line in the budget book, you won't find it there. It's rolled up into a snapshot of all the business units combined that cover landscape survivability, landscape and sustainability. So again, there's no specific reference to this $80,000 contract in our budget book.
Anyone else?
I have a question on that.
Yep.
Since it says a bid, this is after the budget, there's a budgeted amount that we approved, but how would you have an 80,000 line item if we don't know what the bid is in our budget?
It's all the individual service contracts under different departments. This one specifically, the Public Works Department. Those are all totaled up into a summation of what we provide to you for those contracted services.
Right. So you wouldn't have a line item for 80,000 in a budget that was approved prior to receiving a bid for this amount because you don't know what the bid amount is at the time of the budget.
we don't know what the bid amount is. We have an estimate in order to prepare the budget for that, and that's what we use to, compile those.
Thank you.
I think we started out with a software
Yes.
upgrade, correct?
Yes, November of 2024, the council approved the software upgrade. So back in April or May, prior to that, we were made aware of Kronos switching to UKG and the migration that was necessary. So with that, we partner with the IT department, finance department, since we all go into the, payroll software. And we demoed multiple time and attendance softwares, Tyler, Munis. We had many hours. We got quotes. We looked at the time clock piece, so we knew that we would need to upgrade our time clocks. So we came to Kronos in 2015. So most of our clocks are 10 years old anyways. So it's like a phone or computer. You have to upgrade those softwares every so often. So even if they hadn't migrated, it is potential that we'd have to change the clocks now. But with the migration, the new UKG platform will no longer support the clocks, so we need new clocks.
If we would have migrated to a different system, we would have likely had to have replaced the clocks
We would
as
have
well.
replaced all the clocks, correct.
The second question is, and maybe this, I need you to help me out with this. Maybe this has to do with my lack of understanding of what the time clock does.
Yes.
But just on its face, $5,300 for something that you would swipe to keep time feels like, feels like a lot of money. So are there additional capabilities of it, or were there additional options that we looked at that were compatible with UKG?
So this is their clock that's compatible with UKG. So the other options are higher as far as we do a finger scanning, and they have higher where you can do a face screen. Obviously, we're not going to go in that. So we do the finger scanning with it. So an employee punches in their number and it scans. So this is the clock feature for it, and we did not upgrade to other features. So basically, they clock in, it tracks through the software to clock when we know they come in and out.
So this is essentially like the base model
Correct.
time clock for
UKG.
UKG. Got a
And-
pretty good business model.
Yes, sir.
I completely understand that it's a migration that we had to have. We didn't choose to migrate at this time. It was they were going to not support the software anymore, which is what software companies do. They do it to make a little adjustment there and make themselves a lot more money. And
And
say that we have an added feature to it or something that you might not ever use.
Yes, and Mr. Cummings stated, we did look at multiple companies, compared prices, looked at clocks, and we looked at it as a whole in its totality, and chose to stay with UKG with your guys' approval.
All right.
So,
Thank you so much
Yes.
for that.
Thank you, Ann.
There was a total of 4 speeches given during the Auburn September 7th council meeting by 3 citizens. One speech was given on items on the agenda concerning the board limited selection process at last council meeting, which elected a 20-year Auburn mayor and a current Auburn superintendent of education for the Auburn Development Board, while leaving out a powerful Auburn citizen. There were 3 speakers during the citizens' open forum. First speaker talked about the wonderful council, road hazards for citizens, and a street sign needed. Second citizen presented results from 4 different polls on 4 different months that were taken on nextdoor.com. Should the city manager deny citizens access to the financial data? City transparency. Should the mayor run again in 2026? And is the city logo helping the city? The last citizen talked about pickleball courts update. I'm going to talk about the board vacancy announcement. I've attended 6 straight Park and Recreation Board meetings. If I'm not mistaken, only one person has been at all 6 advisory board meetings. Several missed 2 meetings and one missed 3 of the board meetings. It's hard to stretch out these board meetings for even 30 minutes. When you automatically re-elect the board members, would participation not be important? What the board has accomplished not be important? I'm not concerned that more still concerned that more qualified and creative citizens of the Auburn community are not applying for the positions on the various boards because this council has made the position become too automatic for 2 terms, and that the same people are elected on the various boards. We just had the superintendent of education be elected on the board. Is she not busy with our kids? Even our longtime past mayor of Auburn has been elected for the 2nd time on a 6-year board that's after being mayor for 20 years. In the past, I've created and headed advisory boards. The number one thing I would tell them that their participation and attendance is mandatory. If you cannot do that, then you cannot be a part of the board. When you volunteer, it's the same as being employed. All the other members rely on you. Mayor Anders and our 8 city council members have failed us in providing us creative, qualified board members. I also want to talk about 8D12 and 8D14. I have noticed on today's agenda is flooded in getting rid of our tax dollars, including more inventory of vehicles. I attended the 4 budget workshops, and it was stated that we had 968 inventory units from the 870 inventory units from last year. That is 98 new units, with I estimated a low of $3.5 million of purchases in 2025. I requested a list of the 870 units that Mayor Anders talked about in the 2024 State of the City Address. As usual, the city manager, by the way of the city attorney Paul Clark, only provided half of that inventory. Every 10 new employees the city hires cost us over $1 million in wages with their benefits. My point is, when is this council and its mayor going to monitor the excessive expenditures by this bloated city budget? We do not have time to spend. We do have time to spend every dollar we get. We don't have to spend it immediately. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity to address you again tonight. Bob, it's good to hear that your medical situation is taken care of and resolved and so forth. I didn't know about that, but glad to hear that report. Really appreciate and respect and admire every one of you and everything you do for the loveliest village over here. We have a wonderful council ward person in Beth Witten, does a lot for our particular neighborhood, but I know it's the same thing for every one of the neighborhoods. I was sitting on the porch with Miss Cherie Lockhart last, about a week and a half ago. It was on the anniversary of when John Henry Lockhart passed away, but she and I sat there and talked for over an hour or so, and I just wanted to mention that she's doing fine, and her family's doing fine, and that neighborhood is doing fine. I grew up in a household, safety first. Matter of fact, my dad had a mammoth job real quick. He was responsible for the Illinois Central Railroad from Chicago to New Orleans and all the spurs on. He was a civil engineer. And whenever there was a derailment in Natchez, Mississippi or Paducah, Kentucky, he would fly off and go. But he wrote a book or a manual called Safety First, and we learned that really well. There's a couple of things that I noticed that are structurally, and it has to do with the roadways, real quick here. If you drive down Dean, either way, in front of Auburn High School number 2, one on Sanford and Dean, you'll see some orange cones over this particular drainage area. It's the strangest looking drainage thing I've ever seen, and I've worked a lot of structural steel. I've tied a lot of rebar in roadways and so forth. But if you look under those orange cones, you're going to see a 30-inch by 18-inch brick-lined, not covered opening that goes down about 4 feet. And I'm just thinking of the little, not just the eastern box turtles and the little gophers and so forth that fall in, but if ever a child fell in there, it'd be hard for her or him to get out of there. A little 2- and 3-year-old child. I just encourage you to take a look at that, if you would, if you don't mind. The other thing has to do with the bright yellow pedestrian signs. If you would look, and the possibility of putting one out here, right, not out here, but of City Hall, Titchener to the Auburn Kendall, right across there. Because I was there the other day, and I only got 8 seconds, but I was there the other day, and there were 2 or 3 lanes here, and a lady was walking in front of me, and there was a box truck. Nobody could see her, and this truck went flying by. I'm going to finish up. But I was just really, really, really worried. And if it and
Thank you,
thanks
Mr.
for
Cosgrove.
giving me an extra couple seconds.
No,
But if you would take a look at that, I would really appreciate
Yep.
it. Thank you
Thank-
very much.
Bob, it's great to have you. You're looking good, really looking good.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I put up polls periodically on nextdoor.com and give the council kind of the results. So I did 4 since the last time I did this. September the 3rd, should the Auburn City Manager be able to deny concerned citizens access to financial data through the legal public records request system? There were 3 choices. 20% said yes, that I and other people should be denied. 75% said no, and 5% said not sure. On July 31st, it said, what kind of transparency do you feel we have in the Auburn City government and Auburn City Council? 3 choices. There is excellent transparency in city government and council. 32% said it was. There's fair transparency in city government and council. 10%. There's poor transparency in city government and council, 32%. And I do not know about our city transparency, 26%. On June the 13th, should the mayor run for mayor run again? And it said that 25% said yes, no said 63%, and 13 said they don't care. But there were not many people that responded to it, so just want to let you know.
How many people responded?
We only had 25.
To all the polls?
Yeah. No, for that particular one. It varies. We may have 100 or 2. We may have down to this amount. This was the lowest we've had. April 30th, do you think that the changing of Auburn's logo and brand helps improve the image of Auburn? Out of that, 19% said yes. They like the change of the logo. 64% said no. And 17% do not care. And that's it.
And I'm here tonight to talk pickleball. I'm excited that you're getting the tennis courts fixed up, but we pickleballers are so excited that the old Sanford courts are open now, and there are people out there playing this evening, and that the last 6 courts are open over at Lake Wilmore. But I also wanted to let you know that, I don't know if you're familiar with the Eye on Grace Foundation, that helps people with ocular melanoma travel for sustaining treatment. So the pickleball courts at Lake Wilmore are going to host a tournament to raise funds for that. So the pickleball courts that you have helped build and that we are now using is going to raise money for that organization. It's going to be on Saturday, November 8th. And if you want to register or get more information, you can go to the eyeongracefoundation.org. And we thank you for pickleball.
Thomas Jefferson was quoted in a letter to James Madison in 1787. The people are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty. Citizens' question. Elijah asked, it seems that some of the council members have begun to question how the city manager and her staff have been ghosting the distributions of funds. Well, Elijah, your observation is excellent, and I hope that our city council members will start to take back their financial responsibilities to the Auburn citizens, or not run in 2026. That includes our mayor. Please make comments or become a guest speaker on Citizens Minutes by going to nextdoor.com or youtube.com. Your counsel is only as good as the information that you gather.